Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while and I think I owe you guys an update on my hormone journey. My last video was 6 months ago where I talked about my results from my Dutch test. So the Dutch test is basically a test that tests your hormones and your hormone metabolites. If you don't know what I'm talking about a year ago, I got off of my hormonal IUD. Was dealing with really bad PMS symptoms and just overall skin issues. I had cystic hormonal acne, digestive issues, mood-related issues like anxiety and depression. Really, I just wanted to document the fact that I wanted my body to be able to just figure out how to function and how to operate without synthetic hormones. Choice that I felt like I was ready for. We're gonna get into that today while I get ready. If you're new on a platform, you kind of think, or I kind of thought, no one was really watching. I recently went and checked my YouTube channel and there was like a few comments on one of my results video. I was like, wow, I really owe people an explanation because there's probably so many people going through the same thing as me and just wondering how my supplement protocol went. Let's get doing this makeup. I always start with my eyebrows, just preference. I feel like when I do my foundation before my eyebrows just don't eyebrow. You know what I'm saying? I got put on a supplement protocol my last visit with my naturopath, and basically the goals were to decrease like excess estrogen in my body that could be causing PMS symptoms, including my acne. And then I was put on like this supplement called Prostate Supreme. Obviously I don't have a prostate, but it was supposed to be to lower the DHT, which is a metabolite of testosterone. I was put on a liquid glutathione as well. And I was put on like an adrenal matrix to help my like cortisol pattern. I was on that supplement protocol for about, I would say, a month and a half, maybe 2 months. And honestly, I didn't really see any improvements. The only improvement that I saw was my breasts. Like my breasts would get really like heavy and tender right before like my period, and it was really bad before, but it was like even walking down the stairs, like it would just like pull my boob, like it would just hurt. And that's like a big symptom of estrogen dominance. So when your progesterone's supposed to be high, your estrogen's kind of dominating that. So yeah, that's what I found the only improvement really. And then I went back to the naturopath and she upped my dose on the Prostate Supreme, so for the DHT, and I did it for like another month and a half, and honestly, like I just like my skin was still the same. I was still having digestive issues. There was really nothing that happened. So I kind of just stopped taking the supplements, but I kept doing the lifestyle things. Also, I probably should have showed you my skin. Like I have nothing active right now and it's been about a month. So my skin is like the best that it's been in a year. I probably should have like explained that to you before, but my skin is thriving right now. It was really expensive to go see a naturopath and they do amazing things, but sometimes you just can't afford it in that moment. So I kept doing the lifestyle changes. I was limiting like things like processed food, eating lots of whole foods, and just like taking better care of myself. This is not going to be something that you want to hear either, because like people just kept telling me this like when I was on my journey, and it's like the last thing that you want to hear because you just want like a quick fix. Like you want to wake up the next day and feel confident again and not have painful acne on your face. These things take time, and if you were in the same boat as me and were on the pill for a large chunk of your life, like I wasn't even an adult. Your body having to figure out your reproductive system and your reproductive hormones. If you have something like acne, maybe in your genetics, or just if that's something that you're gonna deal with, you're probably gonna deal with it for a little bit. And that was not something that I wanted to hear, nor do I want to even tell you guys that, because I just know how frustrating that is. But truly, like, I think I just needed to give all the lifestyle changes, and also just I needed to give my body just time to like adapt. Because when I went off the pill, I didn't get my hormonal acne until like 6 months later, but when I got it. And then like about 3 months later, I didn't even give it like any time to like figure itself out. I went right on the IUD. Sometimes you just have to be patient. Like, you need to do the little things, but sometimes patience is all you can really do. Like, and if you're not being patient, sometimes, like me, you end up spending a bunch of money on skincare products, a bunch of money on different facials, and I don't regret the naturopath, but I'm just talking about everything else. And then you still have acne. So some of the things that I honestly believe helped, and again, I am not a doctor. I don't know if these things were the end all be all. I will never know. I truly will never know. I wasn't that type of person that, you know, ate a piece of cheese and broke out. Like, it was like, sometimes it made sense towards my cycle. Sometimes it didn't. Like, people say your skin was supposed to be the clearest when you're ovulating and during your follicular. And honestly, that's sometimes when my skin was the worst. So the things that made a really big difference for me is, first, I stopped working out when I was on my period. So I listened to my body a lot more and allowed myself a lot more rest and recovery. But based on like what I've like heard on podcasts by health professionals, like, you know, some people are really sensitive to cortisol during these times, and you're kind of like fighting against your body. If like everything in your body's being like, you need to relax, then if that's you, then maybe that's what you need to do. Another thing I realized was that a lot of days I was actually under eating, and I wasn't doing this on purpose. I wasn't trying to lose weight, but for my job, I don't know why I'm getting nervous. I work as a server part-time to pay my bills, and sometimes I'd wake up and in the morning I am not very hungry. I'm still not that hungry in the morning. I'm slowly trying to introduce more food in the morning, but I would wake up and just eat like 2 eggs and like 2 pieces of turkey bacon, and that was my breakfast. And you know what, for some of you, maybe that does work for you. But what I was finding is that I was getting like, by noon, like I was almost like so hungry to the point where like I was like stressed. So I feel like it just wasn't healthy for my hormones to like eat so little calories in the morning. Like, I felt like maybe they just needed more from me. So I was eating a super low calorie breakfast. Don't worry, I'm gonna fix this. And then I was eating maybe like a normal lunch, working out normally, not eating dinner until like sometimes like 1 a.m. because I work at like a bar. As soon as I started introducing more of a stable routine and just more food and more calories, I just felt like that's what my body needed. I just felt like I was in a deficit, stressing my system. That was a big one. Another one is sleep. There are no nights that I don't get at least 7.5 hours of sleep. There's literally no day. I can't remember the last day. Even if I'm out late, I will sleep and get that amount of sleep. Maybe it's not the best quality sleep, but I make sure that I get my full 7.5, 8. When I'm on my period, I give myself 9. I have also incorporated a lot more wellness and like mindfulness into my life. So something that I do every single morning, and this goes hand to hand with something else that I do, is right in the morning, I'll wake up, I do my skincare, I drink my glass of water with, I do like a chunk of salt, I put the salt in my mouth, and I chug like a whole mason jar of water. And then I go grab my journal, sometimes I don't journal. So sometimes I'll grab my Choosing Me journal, which is my small business, and I will go and get my morning sunlight. Super important for a healthy cortisol pattern. Cortisol is supposed to be the highest in the morning, and for me, my cortisol was like non-existent on my Dutch test, and that's not normal. I know it seems weird. I was trying to like boost my cortisol, but we do need cortisol. Maybe I don't feel like as in touch with my mind and my body as I want to, but I'm on that journey and I'm making those efforts. And I think my body and my system is starting to realize that, which is great. And could have had an effect on my skin, but it's definitely had an effect on my everyday life. I can tell I am much more resilient. Like, I can have a really hard day, but then the next day I'm okay. Or I can have a hard morning and turn my day around. There was a period of time 6 months ago where that wasn't possible for me. Like, I would sometimes just rot all day or like for multiple days in like a depression and just kind of feel bad for myself and not be able to get out of bed. So progress over perfection. I've not been showing you what I'm doing for my makeup. So I use this foundation. It's really good for acne prone skin. It's the Hourglass Soft Glow Foundation. It's amazing. It's no pore cloggers in this one, and it just goes on so nice, very buildable. I use the Milk concealer. I do it like by my eyebrows, and then sometimes I do it under my eyes, and then sometimes I just don't. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, sometimes I'm feeling it, sometimes I'm not. It's weird. What else did I use? Oh, the Benefit brow pencil. It's the only one I've ever actually liked. And then the Benefit 24 brow setter, amazing. And the Rare Beauty blush, also no pore cloggers in this one. Love it. And then I just use this random palette. My friend gave it to me one day and I use one color. I use this color just on my eyelids. Back to my hormone stuff. This is gonna be a really long video. I don't buy a lot of processed foods, but if I go out to eat, I wouldn't not get a burger if I want a burger. Or like, I'm not restricting, I'm just trying to make better choices for majority of the time. I've definitely been paying attention to make sure that there's lots of fiber in my meals, that there's, you know, healthy fats, that I'm not missing any macronutrients. Like, love carbs, love fats, love proteins, love all of it. The quality of my food too. I try my best to get organic foods when I can, grass-fed meat. I also am taking a probiotic. It's just a super simple women's, specifically, I'll link it below. Fenty Beauty highlighter. I did mention that I feel like I am more resilient to stress, and that is true. Like, what I said was 100% true, but to be honest, I'm still experiencing a lot of periods of anxiety, and it's kind of weird. Like, it used to be more like right before my period, but it's like after my period. Like, it's follicular phase, which is the phase where you're supposed to be getting your energy back, you're feeling like motivated. It's been like the hardest days for me in terms of like anxiety are those days, and I just fall into these like spirals and have some mentee bees. I also think that I'm just at a period in life where I just am really lost. I think we like overhype our 20s. I don't really think these are really supposed to be the best years of our lives. I think these are supposed to be the hardest years, and like the years where you feel really lost, or a lot of us do if we don't fully know like what we want to do. Everything's so expensive and it's so hard to live now, and rent is just always increasing. We went through a pandemic. Like, there's just a lot going on, and I just feel like there's so much pressure to just like have things figured out that we put on each other or we put on ourselves. And like, also I think the older generations like kind of look down on us too, because we're just not as like overall resilient to things. But the world is really different now. There are definitely things that I think I can do. Like, I don't want to be like, this is my fate. I'm always gonna struggle with really bad anxiety and bouts of depression. Like, no, that's not, I'm not characterizing myself like that. Like, if you're in that boat too, just know that you need to just trust your own journey and not compare your journey to other people's, because everybody's just in different circumstances. Also, you don't know what other people are going through. They could be going through very similar things as you. Not everybody's gonna share the lows, and especially on social media, because, you know, we like to share the highs, we like to share the good pictures of ourselves and the accomplishments and the new house that we bought. Like, we're not gonna be like, oh hey, like I had like a literal anxiety attack last night. Some white eyeliner. Sorry, that was a tangent and a half. It's so good. I've heard mixed reviews about this, but it works really well for me, and it does like this most subtle plump. Kind of just want to end this video. I know it was a mess. I didn't script it whatsoever, which honestly I usually kind of script or like write out what I'm gonna say, but this was like very spur in the moment. There's been a lot of cons to this journey because of all the symptoms I've experienced and am still experiencing. Like, I'm still on this journey with myself, but I have loved learning about my body, learning about my reproductive system, listening to my body. Like, I feel like a different person. Like, that's actually like terrifying to say, but I feel like a completely different person not on birth control. It makes sense. Like, if you're on birth control, like, you're not having a real period, you're not ovulating, your system isn't functioning the way a woman's system would naturally function. And it has been a blessing and also a struggle, because acne has probably been the main thing for me. It took away my confidence at one point. You could say it humbled me. It definitely did. And I'm not saying that I'm like done having acne. Like, I will probably have a little bit of acne for a while, and that's okay. But to have like the painful cystic acne along with all the other symptoms, it really just got like, it put me into a hole, and I just felt so insecure and not myself for a while. I feel like a different, stronger, in-tuned woman. My interests are all about women's health. Like, it's just so fascinating to me. Everything that exists that I didn't know about, that makes me feel like so in tuned, and it's so sad that we don't learn that in our education system. Imagine in elementary school learning about the different phases of your cycle, besides just being like, oh my god, periods suck, here's a tampon and a pad, you know? And kicking the, like, the boys should be in the class learning about the menstrual cycle too. Like, we should all be learning about it. It affects my boyfriend a lot. I give him updates, which phase I'm at, how that makes me feel typically, or how I'm feeling this time. Like, he needs to be in the loop, and he is in the loop. But that has been extremely important with like communication and just feeling like appreciated. Us women are different basically every single week, and men have a 24-hour circadian rhythm. They are the same morning and night depending on factors like sleep and all the things. They are very complex, and it is beautiful. I am not done. I'm gonna still continue this hormone journey and share with you guys, and I think the menstrual cycle and being educated on it and being in tune with your body is a superpower for women. Thank you so much for watching and being patient. I'm so happy that I was able to share this journey with you guys. Much love.